What's going on, everybody? This is a truncated, kind of late version of the Empire State of Mind podcast. Didn't know if I was going to do one tonight, but Tony was cool enough to join me, and we're going to talk about what happened yesterday. Everybody knows it's not a mystery, as I screw around with some things in the background here, but um, it's funny. I walked away from the television yesterday, Tony, and I went to grab something to eat. And I come back and Fred Warner's being carted away. And I'm like, really? That's really what's going on right now? My brother, like, I got pizza, but boom, 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 knocks on my door. I'm like, all right, great. Didn't know how the game was going to turn out yesterday. It was kind of looking like the Niners defense was going to have some problems. Little did I know that they were going to lose, I would say, their most important player other than Nick Bosa. But I think Fred Warner's more the leader than Bosa can be just because of Bosa's demeanor. But my my feelings about this team and my excitement and my expectations have been little by little been whittling down the last couple weeks. And yesterday, I'm trying to be optimistic, but it took a really hard turn left. I would love to know how you're feeling.
I mean, the question comes. The question that pops in my head is, when is enough enough? Like, how many more injuries? I mean, I gotta be honest with you. When I saw him go down, I was just like, "This sucks." Like, Bosa's a phenomenal player. I just think Warner is a little bit more important as far as tying the back half of the defense with the front half and make sure everyone's aligned properly and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, yeah, Bosa's a massive piece to this defense 100%. I'm not saying he's not. But the minute Fred left that field, you saw nothing but missed coverages, misalignments, blown assignments. And that's what happens when you lose the quarterback of your defense in Fred Warner. It sucks. It's very frustrating. It's talking to other 49er fans, just like, all right, man, why? Like, why us? Why is it got to be us every damn year? Freaking everyone gets hurt. And like, I'm getting pissed because all you keep hearing, like, even on the broadcast is, oh, Tampa Bay suffered another injury. Man, Tampa Bay did not lose two All-Pros. You're starting damn quarterback. Your top wide receiver. You're another All-Pro on offense.
Yep.
It's just been constant every year, and the continuation of these media people and people that are calling the game and just like the flat out disrespect and how they look at this team, it's ridiculous. This team should not be 4-2. And the scary part about it is they still could have won that game yesterday.
Yes, they could have.
They still could have won that game, even losing Fred Warner. And
Yep.
could have been sitting at 5-1. But I mean, obviously,
yep.
But it is what it is. When is enough enough? That's my question.
It's weird. I couldn't even stomach myself to put in a Niners shirt today or a hat. I had to put my Superman shirt and hat on because I'm a giant nerd. But the worst part about all of this is the meathead fans that are like policing you as a fan because you're so highly critical of this team because of the injuries and like everything that's going on, and like your optimism has changed, and you just have these people out here who police the internet and tell you if it affects you, if it depresses you, you're not a real fan, and that real fans cheer for no matter what, as if like you can just go to the grocery store and buy a new Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and put them back on the field. You know what I mean? Like, there's this weird like policing of fanhood on not even just, I would say just in general, fans who like to tell other fans who are like really down. Like yesterday, really, I read a lot of tweets or whatever they call them on X now. A lot of 49er fans saying kind of the exact same thing is like, I'm numb now. I've kind of become numb. Like nothing can depress me more with this team. Like, I don't care about the season. They might as well wrap it up. You got a lot of that yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you understand where they're coming from because it's. I don't think it's the dislike of the team. It's just the frustration of like how this team, like injury wise, it's very frustrating. But like I said, this team's 4-2 right now. They're in first place of the NFC West. They won every division game that they played, and that says a lot. I mean, in my opinion, that they're able to hold that first place positioning in the NFC West, and they beat all three teams. That says a lot. They beat the Rams, they beat Arizona, they beat Seattle. It, in my opinion, that screams like this team is resilient. All right, resiliency is like the motto of this team. Like they just keep fighting, they keep going. Another guy goes down, another guy goes down, another, and they just keep playing. Next man up, next man up. I mean, unfortunately, I honestly feel like this one could be the backbreaker, but
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they have up their sleeves. You don't know how they feel and what they have and where they're at currently going into what week 1, 2, 6, 7. So week 7 they're going into. You don't know what their thought process is. They could say, listen, we're going to start working the phones. We're going to bring in the veteran linebacker. We're going to go get not a top-notch pass rusher, but we're bringing in another pass rusher to add to the depth of this team, and we're going to make a push. And honestly, it makes sense because the notion is the weak schedule. It screams like a favorable situation for the 49ers because of the weak schedule. And they have what? 1, 2, I think off the top of my head, 3 more opponents that have winning records as of right now on this schedule. So I mean, there's a lot of favorable conditions, but I mean, this shit's got to stop. It just got to stop.
They have to stabilize injury wise. They have to stop. And like, you can't, I say this every week and everyone's like, well, you're a negative dick. Like you make fun of our injury situation. I'm like, I don't make fun of it more than I just, I call like, okay, we got Mustafa back. So we have to pay a sacrifice to the injury god because for every guy we gain, we got to lose. And, I say it kind of like in a tongue in cheek kind of way, but in my mind, I'm like, is that literally what's going to happen this Sunday? And sure enough, it's exactly what happened with Fred Warner. And um, I foresee 2 possibilities of what can happen. They stabilize and they just uh, figure out a way internally, schematically, to figure out some things on defense, and they kind of stem the tide that way. Um, and they figure out a way to win these games coming up. Not all of them, but like a good majority of them. Or they completely crash. Because emotionally yesterday when Warner left that game, I felt like the 49ers were in complete mental disarray. Nothing worse than the 3rd and 14 slip out of the sack and then proceeds to get like a gazillion people just flying in with any no kind of like angle or any just reckless abandon trying to tag tackles, and he ends up getting 15 yards on 3rd and 14. And I feel like that was a little bit of it. That could have been like yesterday. That was, at least for that game, yesterday's game was the backbreaker. I feel like they're really, everybody's really, what's the word I'm looking for right now? Sensitive, or everybody's like kind of really emotional right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm afraid that like the loss of him yesterday really kind of, people can say all the stuff to the media they want to about it's next man up and we got to go out there and then we have a job to do and it's nothing else we can do about it. But you got to be thinking, bro, like in their heads, just looking across the field and like every time they look, a different teammate is down. Like in their minds, they got to be thinking like, how much more can we sustain of this until you're playing with practice squad guys or, bottom of the roster players in important positions. And then that's kind of where my fanhood is right now. There's a part of me that goes, ooh, winnable games, get healthy, stabilize, doable. And then the other part of me goes, injuries aren't going to stop. They're going to figure out different ways to lose games. They're going to say all the right things in the media. John Lynch is going to give all the CEO talk, like the way he presents everything to the media. He's so confident. He's a great talker. He really can like sell you on things. But in his mind, you got to be thinking like, man, we're fucked again. Got to wait for the draft again next year and free agency, and then we'll give it another try. Like, it's somebody made a good tweet. They said what goes on in the building week to week is different what fans think. Like, they can't in that building stop working. There's the people that take care of the stuff on game day and the coaches and stuff. And then there's the people in that building that are already thinking about the draft and stuff. Like, work doesn't stop with the 49ers because Fred Warner got injured. And I think
100%. 100%. I agree with
like
you there.
that is a running organization, whether Warner or Bosa are on the field or not. It doesn't change anything. Fans take it differently. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you 100%. I just think like right now, the notion is what they have to do is they have to sit down and they have to identify where they're at right now, what they feel, what they truly feel. I mean, it doesn't have to be reported by anybody. It doesn't have to be broadcasted. They just need to go behind closed doors and sit down and say, where are we right now with this team? Are we going to make the push? Do we feel we are able to make a push? Or do we sit here, play the season out with what we have, keep our draft picks, don't bring any rentals in and lose ammunition for the draft? Like, because the Niners need to start making decisions, and it's at multiple positions. Like I am a huge Trent Williams dude. Like I think Trent Williams will go down in history. He's probably one of the best left tackles to ever play the game, but he is not the Trent Williams he's been over the last several years. Something is not right, and that is a major issue because you're talking about putting all your eggs in one basket as far as he is the dude and there's no one behind it, and financial responsibilities going forward, right? Christian McCaffrey. And I think I think they're going to wind up putting fucking Christian into the ground with as much as they're using him, but they have no choice right now due to injuries. Like they're forcing Christian to, like, if you watch the game plan, the beginning of the game was check down city to Christian one-on-one, trying to find that matchup with a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. They picked up yards. They moved the ball. And, but it's going to come. It's going to come to an end. Like they're getting reinforcements back. But my whole speech and spiel about this, what we're talking about, is they need to decide, because the way this team is structured, big numbers for big players up top, there's a big gap in the middle, and then there's all lower tier guys on this roster. If they choose to go just play the way we're playing with what we have, they can't make trades right now. I don't think this is a Super Bowl team. Even if they get their reinforcements back, you're still massively depleted on the defensive side of the ball. You are. It is what it is. It's facts. I hate to say it, but it is. I just feel that, in my opinion, like, it wasn't Mac Jones yesterday. It wasn't Kendrick Bourne yesterday. It wasn't Jake Tonders yesterday. It wasn't Christian McCaffrey yesterday. The offensive line killed that team yesterday. Flat out, the interior of that offensive line killed that team. Now, I'm a big Pooney fan. I think Pooney is a diamond in the rough. But I also think Pooney's playing hurt because there's nothing behind him.
Yeah, Kyle even said he was. Let me bring this up. Our guy Wayne Bruzy put this up on X today, so I'll give him credit for listing this, Wayne Bruzy. But we got some of the grades, the PFF, or just the overall like issues that happened yesterday. So I think you'll find it extremely alarming that, I mean, Trent Williams. So Dominic Pooey 6 hurries, Trent Williams 4, 2 sacks, 2 hurries. It's across the board, Bo. But like, it's just unbelievable. Like, Trent Williams to me has all the same bark that he did when he was healthy, but he doesn't have the bite anymore. He's overweight. He's slow. His ankles are, made out of paper mache. Like I say that, I mean that in a respectful way. It's just like, I think his body's kind of reached that limit. He doesn't look like the same player. He doesn't move like the same player. and he's your anchor. He's your best player on that offensive line. So if he's not doing his job, and then you got Pooney hurt on the other side, you got a seventh rounder at left guard, and you have a perennial issue with Jake Brendel all the time, every single year. He sucks. They don't do anything about it.
Jake Brendel needs to go. Like there's zero. I never seen somebody get pushed around so much and just continuously get thrown into the quarterback's lap regularly, right. Play in, play out, consistently walking around aimlessly, like shaking his head, doing one of these, like come on, bro, you got to block. And like if you can't block, like go to the legs, chop to do something, because and I think the main issue is right now is you're seeing the difference between Brock and Mac. Brock's a mobile quarterback. He can make plays with his feet. Mac can't. So this whole time when Brock was playing the first game, even last year, I honestly think Brock masked the issues, the severity of how bad this offensive line is, because his ability to step up in the pocket and run. It was easier for them to protect. They didn't have to protect for as long as they do with Mac, because Mac is not a guy that could run. I mean, he'll scramble and he'll try to extend the play, but he's not a threat like Brock Purdy is. And, you know, I just feel that it's not a good situation. It's not. No. I think it's a very bad situation. I think someone's going to get hurt. I think I don't know what I think, bro, but it's just it just sucks.
Bro, Tony, I'm right up where you are right now. I'm kind of emotionally exhausted because, like, every week I talk myself back into believing before the game. Like, if they could just, it's always the same thing too. It's like, if they can just get healthier, and, you know, maybe the offense needs to be the ones that's going to run, you know, carry the balance of the struggles this year. Like, they're gonna help the defense, who's just struggling really bad, and then another player goes down. So Fred Warner, losing Fred Warner, with Fred Warner, you make a move or two on the D line, and I would have felt a lot better. But now losing him, and then also having the deficiencies we have on the defensive line, it's wow. They were already having problems yesterday, bro, like stopping the run. They were getting gouged. I mean, it was like 6 yards a pop every play.
Yeah.
And they were going against a backup running back and a bunch of backups on defense, or backups on offense. And scary. It's scary to watch, bro. It's scary because, like, our two best players are not on that defense now. And we still got 9 games or 10 games left. It's
I think they need to make adjustments. I think the defense has to be adjusted. I don't think with the condition, the depth, and due to injuries, I don't think they can run this scheme anymore with the wide 9.
I don't think so either.
Play more of a traditional 4-3 front, because the spacing, you don't have those guys that could.
They don't have the dogs that give them the ability to do that. You're right. It's 100%.
I mean, without Fred, I mean, listen, I love Tatum Bethune. I'm a Florida State fan. He was phenomenal at Florida State. You want a linebacker that could stop the run, it's Tatum Bethune. But in coverage, he could be exposed. I mean, it's sad what I'm saying, but you could take advantage of Tatum Bethune. But I mean, listen, I don't know. I just, and another question I have is, it's not like this team came out of a bye week, right? They make the switch at safety. They sit Pinnock for Jair Brown, who's a slower safety than Pinnock is. Yeah. And then they try to sprinkle in Mustafa coming back from injury. Good. That's a positive, right? But you clearly see the miscommunications and the breakdowns in the secondary because of it. Why did they switch it? Why wouldn't you wait until Mustafa gets his legs under him? Because, bro, Mustafa didn't play with this defensive coordinator last year.
No.
Right? He didn't play with Saleh and Gus Bradley.
All brand new.
This is all brand new. And I know you want Mustafa on the field because he's a damn good safety. But the problem is, you saw what happened live yesterday. The continuation of the breakdown at the safety position. Jair Brown was out of place. Siegel, who I think has a bright future, who needs the reps, was out of there was a miscommunication between the corner and Siegel. I think they need to pick two guys that are 100% healthy. Yep. I think they need to continue with Pinnock and Siegel until Mustafa's got his legs under him. Mustafa has totally and complete understanding of the back end of this defense with Saleh and Gus Bradley and what they look for, because they can't afford to have these miscommunications, mislaps, breakdowns, like all these issues, because this team has no room for error. There's no room for mistake. They got to go out. They got to play their game. Not this week, but the week before, they had a couple turnovers, and they still were able to win the game. They had a massive turnover early in this game that resulted in 7 points, and they still were in position to win this game.
Yep.
So I just think they need to they need to be safe or keep it stupid simple in this situation due to all the injuries with this roster. Because if they don't, it's just gonna, if they keep trying to move pieces around, now you got the quarterback of your defense out. So it's not like you have somebody that has been there for year after year in this system, played for.
Yeah, before you had Greenlaw, so maybe you lose Warner or you lose Greenlaw, but now you have neither of them. So you have a ton of inexperience.
You saw the difference with D. Winters once Fred Warner went out. Greenlaw started to become undisciplined. Greenlaw was caught out of position. Greenlaw had a mental lapse on that touchdown because that was his guy coming in motion on a go route. It's just shit like that happens, and you can't have those mental lapses when you're in this predicament.
This is the thing I told my brother yesterday. I said, Kyle said it so perfectly. People need to rally. You cannot, as a professional football player, not named Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, be so dependent on your teammate making sure that everything is where it needs to be and people are in position and the right play calls are being called and the right adjustments are being made on the fly. That's to me, that's a lack of young guys being unprepared and not studying up, and it's not, the onus isn't being put on people to don't depend on him. Don't depend on Bosa. Know your job and know somebody else's job too and figure that crap out. Because what happened yesterday, it just seemed like a bunch of guys out there that were just aimlessly making mistakes that were so dependent on Fred, so dependent on Nick. And Kyle's right. You got to rally. It's your job, man. What are you doing? You can't be figure it out. Figure that crap out. Figure out where you're supposed to be. Make corrections. It's to me, it's aggravating. That's like going to work and not being able to function without your manager. If their manager happens to call in or has a car accident or something, you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm not trained. That should never happen, right? You should be able to go into work. Manager can't make it. You figure out a way to get through the day. You're trained enough and well at your job that you can figure some things out. Yesterday, it was as soon as he left the game, it was nobody had never been on a football field playing 11-on-11 football before in their life. It was just wow. It was and the ineptitude was mind blowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to go to? Ayuk, the drama. I don't know if you picked up on it. You said you took a nap. So Jennifer Lee Chan, I think it was Jennifer Lee Chan that reported he had scrubbed his IG, hadn't been seen at the 49ers facility for weeks. No word on if he's going to come back or not. The two sides seem to be far apart. And then that was debunked by, I think, either Mayoka or Barros saying, because those guys have different access, that essentially he's been in the building, and Kyle says that, no guarantee when he comes back, but week 10 might be kind of like that, quasi set date or whatever. So there was a whole debate going on. People are like, get rid of him. I don't care. F him, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people didn't like the fact that they paid him last year. and and then he got hurt and all that stuff, and he's been kind of a little bit of a drama queen. What's your take on the whole? I almost said Kittle. I wish the Brandon Ayuk situation.
I have no clue. I think Brandon Ayuk, his whole way that the way he handled his contract negotiations, the way he went about doing it and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of it. Okay, he put a bad taste in my mouth when he walked on the field intentionally wearing black shorts and everybody was in red shorts and he purposely came out in black to see if he can get away with it, knowing that he took a shot because he had the red shorts under the black shorts and he simply just pulled his shorts down and went with the red ones. And Kyle called him out on it. And I just don't like I played it, right? I coached, not at a pro level or anything like that, but I coached high school football. And there was zero tolerance for shit like that. And I know these guys are pros. They make big money. You got to coddle to them, if you will, a little bit. But yep. I just, if you're told this is the uniform today, you make sure you come out in the uniform of the day. Don't be an individual. You want to be a team. We are a team. We wear the same uniform. That's the way it is. That's the way I was taught. That's the way I was brought up with it. I just feel like these dudes, they just keep poking the bear and see what they can get away with until the bear snaps back. When the bear snaps back, they cry wolf. And I'm just not for it. Right? You did your little thing, your holdout, your social media posts and stuff like that. 100%. That's great. You got paid. You got what you wanted. Now put up or shut up. Heal, continue your rehab, get your butt on the field. Make sure you're in shape to ready to go out and play, because that was the issue last time when you ended your held out and it came back on the field. Brandon Ayuk wasn't in game shape. Everyone saw, wow, dude's big. But I mean, listen, it's a business, the NFL. It's becoming an even bigger business than what it originally was. But I mean, do you want Brandon Ayuk on your team when he's locked in and playing lights out? Absolutely. It makes the offense better. And our number one objective is winning and fielding.
I'm all for talent being added to this team at all costs if it's able to happen. Yeah.
But, there's stipulations. There's things that you got to do. There's I don't know. I get very frustrated with this topic.
What do you think about? What do you think about the whole? That pissed me off yesterday so much. The freaking the Juwan Jennings situation. Him and Kyle getting into it on the sideline.
Kyle didn't
really make.
I was watching.
So did I.
I was watching the game and I said, "Holy shit!" I just saw Kyle turn his head and start screaming at Jennings. And I saw Jennings get it was a glimpse, and you just saw something was not right. They panned the camera back, and you still saw them in the top corner of the TV.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that shit on national television because it was a nationally televised game, and what
do you think of him bitching about injuries yesterday too?
I think he just got the team in trouble. If that's true, and they didn't disclose that, I think the Niners they're going to get fined, and I think it's going to make it work. Listen, I know it's a business. I know these guys got to worry about their future. But look what happens every time they try to flex their muscles. I'm not coming to camp. Or they didn't say anything up until the day that you had to report. And what do? They hold out. And look what happens. Injuries. They're not in red. They're not in shape. Juwan Jennings looks like a totally different player this year than he was last year.
Yeah.
Granted, if he's injured, which he probably is because the guy took a beating versus, I think it was Arizona or something, or maybe the Rams, one of those teams, he took a beating. And I give him respect because he fought through it and he kept playing. But if you avoid, Jennings, Ayuk, if you avoid this situation, even Christian McCaffrey wasn't as long as a holdout. But if you avoid that stuff, take care of your finances before training camp happens, you're not going to have these problems. And everyone's quick to point because of Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. Oh, they got to fire their training staff for Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. No. Fred Warner was a fluke accident. Nick Bosa, his foot just got caught and it didn't release in the turf, and he popped his ACL.
I agree. I'm going to cut you off for a second. My issue isn't with the things that happen on the football field while games are. I'm happy about my issues are the stuff that happens behind the scenes, injury recovery, setbacks, constant
100%
setbacks.
soft tissue injuries. Why is it? Why is it that Watkins is still out with the same injury?
Yeah.
Right. And even the kid that they drafted, the he wears number 19 now, Cowing, Jacob Cowing, the same hamstring. What the hell's going on? Like I don't know, man. There's so much. There's so much you could discuss. There's so many things you could look at, but like no matter what, I mean, I know people. I'm probably gonna get like ripped for saying this. You still have to give Kyle Shanahan a ton of credit for what he's done with this team and the position that they're in with all these injuries.
Yeah.
And some dude posted like they listed all the players that were injured for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Luke Earlsling, whatever. And like, it's 1 game, 2 game. Bro, you got guys out for the year for the 49ers, and they're still competing. And they're 1 game behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as far as a win-loss. And the 49ers could have, if they didn't have mental lapses on the offensive line, could have.
They didn't soil themselves yesterday.
But no, but no. Like the Buccaneers, more injuries than anything. Bullshit, buddy.
You know what my issue? You know what my issue, or I don't have an issue. Something that really, I'm not a big fan of Emmanuel Acho because he talks a lot, right? I'm not a big fan of his whole super like over pronouncing when he talks like this all the time. But he put out a video talking about we got to start giving Kyle Shanahan the props he deserves for the quarterbacks that he's worked with and been reasonably successful with. Say what you want about him not winning the chip, man, because I think one day if he gets in the right situation, he will. I really, truly believe that. I think he's that good of a coach. Dude, Mac Jones, might not be a long-term thing where like he can take these guys and turn them into a long-term, but the fact that he's able to work with these guys and get wins out of these guys, and for the most part, the offense doesn't miss a beat no matter who's in there, whether it's Garoppolo, whether it's Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, what he did in Washington. It's just I think 49er fans, the ones that always want to call for everybody to be fired every single year, let's start over. Let's gut the whole thing, fire the coach and GM, get a bunch of draft picks and free agents. Like you can just like rebuild it like Madden. Like it's that easy. I hate people like that. But Kyle, to me, he like you said, I think Kyle deserves hella credit.
Absolutely.
Hella credit. I think we're wasting.
He was not far off from winning that game yesterday. He was not. I'm sorry.
Oh.
He was right there. A couple things like a couple odds and ends would have been there. Like, it's just so damn frustrating, bro. It really is because I know how good this team could be, right?
Me too.
From being a fan, you know how good they could be if they were healthy,
and
they're not healthy. This is what it's going to be pretty much for the rest of the year, and it's just frustrating because they're still competing.
It's hard for me, Tony, to be 100% immersed. Like I still watch the games, of course. Gives me something to talk about whether they win or lose. I like doing the YouTube thing just to talk. It's very cathartic for me, especially when they lose. But man, it's like you watch highlights, even from like a season prior, and you see Fred on the field, Nick's on the field, everybody's on the field, and now it's just like my excitement level at the start of the season. I think it would have been what's her name from East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I forget her name.
Yes.
It's affecting even people like her. It's hard. Like she said, I think she went into the season with she goes, I wish we could go back to week 1 when we were all like super excited and like they were healthy and stuff. It's tough, man. It's tough as a fan to go through that constantly. It really is. And my brother's like, how can you complain? You guys have been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. I'm like, that doesn't make it like, okay. So because we went to a couple Super Bowls, I'm supposed to be okay with like 4 injury decimated seasons? Like, no, that doesn't. To me, the injuries, like you can't even get started when you're hurt, bro. Like you can't even figure out what you could have been when you get hurt this early in the season. Like you can at least you could say like we got really far, somebody got hurt at the end, and you'd be like, if so and so wouldn't have gotten hurt, we would have, finished the sentence. When it happens early in the season, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You don't even it's aggravating. Um the offense. I wanted to switch to that.
Mhm.
Brock Purdy, we'll find more out about him this week. Same thing with Pearsall, but there are some reinforcements coming. Apparently, Watkins might be come back to practice this week. I don't know what that means. I'm so sick of hearing it.
Mhm.
um, can you foresee a scenario if the impossible happens and we don't really get that many more injuries, where an offensively led 49er team can kind of do what the Lions did last year and essentially try to outscore everybody all year with a semi soft schedule, and maybe we might not win the Super Bowl. We may lose in the wild card, but even get into the playoffs. I can, but it would have to be like the injuries would have to stop today, like no more, which we know that's not going to happen. And
Sure.
it's really,
Sure. I mean, yeah, I could see them. I could see them sneaking into the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders due to the fact of the injuries.
it's just missing too many guys. Yeah.
I just think they're way too decimated. I mean, listen, things could change. They could bring in people that could change that, but as where they stand currently right now, I just don't see them being a Super Bowl contender right this minute. But as far as the offense, I still think the offense is good enough with the injuries that they could compete. They could continue to push forward. They could continue to make a playoff run. But I mean, I just think that they're gonna need some. They're gonna need some luck. They're gonna need to get people back and keep them back and keep them healthy. I think Kyle needs to. My thing is this: if Brock Purdy is not 100%, meaning when I say 100%, able to push off with that foot, step into a throw, you don't see any ball sailing like you did versus I forgot who they played. Was it Jacksonville?
Mm-hmm.
Who they play? Where the balls were sailing all over the place. If he can't do that, he can't play. It's plain and simple. You have to stick with Mac because if they don't cure that toe, it's going to be like a career thing. Like you're talking about a nuisance for the rest of his career. I mean, Jesus Christ, it put Patrick Willis into early retirement, and that's a linebacker. All Brock Purdy needs to do is really like step and throw. And if he's struggling with that, I feel that it's not an ideal situation. It's not good to force it because then now you're talking about a situation with Joe Burrows where there's damage and a tear, and now you need surgery. And now, how does that toe or foot respond from that surgery? There's no real track record on turf toe surgeries.
There's not.
So I think they need to tread lightly on this and not rush him back to say we need him, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he is the starter. Yes, he's the franchise quarterback, but you're winning with Mac Jones, and you're at the same time, you're not putting any more pressure on that toe that what needs to be on there. And if it means Brock's sitting the rest of the season, Brock's got to sit the rest of the season until that toe is 100% healthy, because now you're talking about an investment, right? You're talking about money. You're talking about investing in your franchise quarterback. You don't want to be in a situation where that toe is done and now your investment is in jeopardy.
Yeah, they have to tread really lightly with him. My thinking is too, even when it comes to Brandon Ayuk's injury, is I think they're going to make a lot of decisions this season based on where guys are or where they are record wise. In week 10 or whatever. Like, I mean, it internally as in an organization, they have to answer questions, and that is, are we going to be even able to compete, down the stretch? Are we bringing guys back just to get them re-injured and then affect next season? Like, I'm so sick of it. Like, I'm so sick of thinking in that manner. But I mean, you have to, because you can't have one season affect the next. This year has been, I thought last year was a bad injury year, Tony, and this one takes the cake. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, they've been hurt all season, like the whole year. Like, from week one, it's just been player after player. Every game we lose 3 people. You know, we lost Kittle week 1. We lost essentially we lost Purdy too. And I'm trying to think of somebody else who got dinged up in week 1. I think it might have been Eder Gross Matos, possibly. Week 2, same thing. It's every week it's been like check one off, check one off, check one off, check 2 off. And it's never been the opposite. It hasn't trended in the opposite direction for quite a while. I think it would be interesting to see if they could offensively put up 35, 40 points a game. I mean, they've been struggling lately. I do think there is a cap or a ceiling on Mac Jones's abilities to score a ton of points with this offense. I think there is a cap just because of his mobility. Whereas Brock can extend plays, where Brock may not be as quick with the checkdowns and maybe less accurate than, say, Mac. Mac can't move. Even a healthy Mac can't move. He's a statue. And I mean, they pounded on him yesterday. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, he's got to be 100% healthy. I mean, look at Dion. He's lost toes and everything because of turf toe during his career. That'll affect you the rest of your life. I mean, like you said, Fred, we lost Dre Greenlaw, or excuse me, Patrick Willis early. But that's a whole other, you can go to a whole other conversation with that era of 49er football when we had a chance to win as well. And injuries decimated that team too. So it seems like a common theme ever since they moved to Santa Clara. But Kyle mentioned today, I don't know if he's talking about prior to yesterday in yesterday's injuries, that they didn't seem, he didn't say that they seemed like they were going to be super active in free agency. He said any move that they make has to be something that helps them this year and beyond.
And that's why I said what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Right. You can't make a move for a rental to jeopardize your ability to add to this roster next year.
Because they have holes. They need to add stuff next year.
They have a holes is an understatement. Holes is understatement, but it's tied to the contracts that they gave out. Right? You're 3 players or 2 players right now that you could question for next year is Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey. Is Christian McCaffrey going to be able to make it through this season, or is he going to sustain an injury? Trent Williams, is he going to have it in him to come back another year? There was rumors saying that he was in jeopardy. He was in question this year coming back. And, you're talking about big money, bro. You're talking about big money. And if there's a way out, it's business. This team traded all these players and cut all these players and ate all this money to get them in a position to be able to spend and bring in some players in the future. They're not cheap. The 49ers are not cheap. They had to do a small reset to this roster with Debo, Hargrave, all these. It's just they need the number one issues. They have to stop neglecting the offensive line. Jake Brendel needs to go. It's over. The honeymoon is over, man. Yeah. Like I haven't seen and all they keep doing is putting these stats out. How he's a top 5 center. He's this. He's that. Man, take those stats and shove it up your ass because that you're not seeing it, bro. The guy's getting pushed back every damn play. Every play he's getting pushed back. Whoa, he could call out the protections. Great. Sit down a young kid who's more stronger, more stout, more physical. Teach him how to do it.
Yeah, you're the coach. You're the coach. But teach people. Stop telling people well, you can't start rookies on the offensive line. Kyle doesn't like to. Well, that's too bad. Figure out a way, because that's what you're there to do. You're there to coach. Coach guys. Coach young guys.
If they sustain an injury to that offensive line, I think it's I don't even know. I don't even know what to say.
It's a wrap.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, if they were going to make a move, I want them to do something that helps them for this year. And like you said, there's some lesser known players on other teams. There's a couple players on the Jets that everybody keeps talking about, a linebacker, edge player, or there's an edge player. You're not going to blow your stack for Trey Hendrickson. I don't know what people, this obsession with, they think that the Niners would have ever been in the market for a guy like Trey Hendrickson. Why would you?
I know for a fact that they love Trey Henderson.
Oh, sure. So
They,
does
they
3/4 of the league.
love Trey Hendrickson, but I think he's not going to be the guy. I think they're going to get a guy. They're going to get someone in there just to add a piece. A competitive piece is a depth piece to come in and contribute, stuff like that. I think a linebacker, I mean, Eric Kendricks, they sniffed around in previous years. He chose to sign with Dallas last year. He's a free agent. Do they make that move, bring him in? But again, like, there's reasons why these people are on the free agent market, and there's reasons why these people are looking to be traded. Right? You know, that's why you can't. I don't see a guy like Nick. I'm telling you right now. Like, I don't get me in the. If Nick Bosa did not get hurt this year, and he had anywhere between a 12 and 15 sack season, a holdout was coming. I'm telling you right now, it was coming because of all the money that these guys are getting paid.
Yep.
Nick Bosa would have held out. I'm telling you.
Oh, we were talking. It wasn't you I was talking about, but I think we talked about this. Me and I don't know who it was. It could have been Raj from RSF Niners or somebody. Like we were like some of these edge guys got paid in the off season, and they're like, and we were looking at each other like, you know who's next, right? Like you know who's going to get paid next and deserves it up until he got hurt this year was Nick Bosa. Absolutely, he's your best defensive lineman by far, and there's no close second on this team. If you want to be real with yourself. But you're right. That in a way, it kind of saved him. It kind of saved him.
I mean, you know, they got some decisions that they need to make, and I think you're going to see it as the season progresses, as they get closer to the deadline. I do think they will make a trade. I think that they'll definitely make a trade as for a defensive end help. They need to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have to add a defensive end.
Did you go for a guy like, say, Thibodeau?
No. I don't think Thibodeau's going anywhere. I don't think.
That's true. I didn't even, that's how ridiculously out of touch I am with the Niners since yesterday. I've
Thibodeau's solid, but I don't think Thibodeau has the explosion or the get off for the wide nine. I think if anything, you might see them maybe look at a Jeffrey Simmons, a defensive tackle, but I don't think that he's going to be. I'm saying if the injuries didn't happen and they were really making a run, I think they could look at a guy like that and double down on an edge, like not a massive name edge like Granderson. Like everyone keeps saying Granderson, but Granderson's coming with a massive 2 years on his contract. It's going to be tough to squeeze that in. You could look at Cam Jordan, somebody like that, who's I think on the last year of his deal. You could look at a guy like, God, why am I having
Bradley Chubb?
Bradley Chubb, who has I think 2 years on his deal, but they can walk away from it next year. You could look at a guy like Arden Key, who gives you that inside-outside flex, who was with San Francisco. You know, guys like that are like lingering, where you can get like a fire sale, like the Titans. That's why, I mean, I think Jeffrey Simmons, if they feel that they're going to make that push, I think Jeffrey Simmons could be like a sneak move for them, or a team could come in and just pay for him, like another team. But I think they're going to go bargain hunting to see what they can add to improve that defensive line. The offensive line, you're not going to find anybody of significance. So, and no one's trading tackles and centers and guards at this point of the year, unless they are 100% out and they're free agents and they don't plan on bringing them back, which is a rare.
I'm not going to lie. If the Niners can save any money from Trent Williams retiring next year, I would be okay with that. I don't know what the money and the cap is with him and or Ayuk and or Jennings. Some of these guys, like, it's not worth the headache for some of them. Jennings, I wanted to go back to him. A lot of people are like trying to figure out like what his deal's been this year, if he's been really as hurt as he said he has, or does it have to do with the contract? Trent Williams was asked about something, and he pretty much said like we're all playing with stuff. Um, and there were reporters like, so you're playing with broken ribs? Yeah. And I'm thinking, does Kyle or John know about this? Like, is he being legit or is he just complaining for complaint's sake because he's not being productive? Like, I want to get to the bottom of that. That really bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, putting that kind of information out there. I mean, it's almost as bad as Tua doing what he did, throwing his team under the bus in a press conference, whether he's telling the truth or motivating people. But, like, man, dude, it's like you're not supposed to do your business through the media. Like what Jawan Jennings did, you're right. Now, again, it just puts another black mark on this team and their ability to get people healthy or get people recovered. How many times have we heard the saying, he's had a setback with this team? Many times. That's a, they've changed a lot of people within their health staff, but I know that like the lead person, the person at the very top, has been here for like I don't know, almost 10 years. Um, I would if they haven't. I mean, if they continue to get people hurt, I mean, think everything has to be on the table next year. I would, including do something with your injury staff, like your health and wellness staff. Like, yeah, you got to take care. You got to like, even if it's a bad optic to constantly have guys getting re-injured or can't come back, or guys get injured in their in their rehab and stuff. Is just insane. Um, Nobody knows really what's going on in the IU thing here. That's the other thing that bothers me. Who's telling the truth? Do they bring him back if they keep losing? If they bring him back, do they trade him? Do they trade him next year? Like, could they get for him something at the trade deadline? Could they send him to the Steelers who need a wide receiver? Like, a lot of questions, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
Thing is, we're 4-2, and you would think for a lot of people like we're 4-2. We're not 4 and whatever. And I was just like, the vibe right now. A lot of 49er fans could care less what the record is. They just lost Fred Warner for the year. Nobody's really all that excited. They're excited because you never know. But at the same time, like you gotta be real with yourself as a fan, man.
Yeah, but like you said, we are 4-2, so it could be worse. I mean, I understand losing Fred Warner is just as bad as you're going to get it, as bad as it could get, right?
Yeah.
But the scary thing is they have the Falcons, who I think they're going to give the Niners a tough time because they can't stop the run. I think you have the Giants after that. You have winnable games coming up.
We do.
And the issue is, do you wave the white flag and pack it in, or do you just keep fighting and playing?
Does anyone ever ask Kyle why Kyle's QB stay healthy way back to the Texans and Manshaw days? That's like, I don't know. That is true. A lot of his quarterbacks do. No. I mean, he's had some injuries, but for the most part, everybody has stayed pretty healthy under Kyle. Or they can't stay healthy. I mean, 2022, that was just a crazy year. You lose both your starting and your backup quarterback like before week 6 or 8 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But then we never would have had that curse of Aaron Lavigan lives on. Yeah, that's me. I called the injuries last week to be a facetious dick, but didn't really mean it. And yet they did get. I'm just like, I'm not saying anything else anymore. Okay, any more live streams on Friday? No injury comments, because there's some sort of correlation between my big mouth and them getting hurt. So I'm just really moody about it, man. I really get pissed off about it. I think it's bull crap. This injury situation is every year. That's why before we'll get out of here in a second, but like I just want to say, like, for the people who are like saying that other teams are having a lot of injuries this year, that is true, but that's this year. The Niners have that every year. So there is no correlation between what's going on with the 49ers and what's going on across the league. 49ers are hurt all the time. It just happens the league is catching up with them this year. So
I just think this team is cursed, and that's that. I think this
Yeah.
team
You
was
know who, what's his name? 49ers Plus podcast, Al. He texted me that during the game yesterday after Fred Warner. He's like, this team is effing cursed. We said that on the stream. He's like, did somebody like make a bad faith deal? Is the stadium built on something? Are we still paying back the football gods for all the Super Bowls we won in the 80s and 90s? Like what's the problem here? So they
I think
need to fire.
left San Francisco. That's what I think it is.
It's true. Every time I think about the fact that they took a stadium that was meant to be built in the Bay Area and literally just plopped it down in Santa Clara, like cut and paste. It's just lazy.
It shows you what they're about, the New Yorks.
Yeah, they're about that money.
I mean, they're not cheap.
No.
They are. The Yorks are not cheap. They are not cheap for the money they're paying. They're paying over $130 million in dead money this year. They're paying listen to what I'm saying, $130 million to players that are not on this roster and playing on opposing teams. Like Eric Armstead, Debo, like Hargrave, players that are no longer here.
Right. We could have said in the past that before the Harbaugh years that you could say they were cheap. And that might have been a fair complaint, but Jed's put a ton of money out there, whether it's his or his parents. And just this year happened to be the year that he had to come to collect. And it's not to say that, they're going to keep tightening their belt straps or their wallet, but they've put out a lot of money. But people are like, they're cheap. The Niners are cheap. No, they don't. The Niners, over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, have made some pretty huge deadline moves, or like the acquisition of D Ford, the acquisition of freaking what the hell is the wide receiver name? Who came from the Broncos?
Oh, Manuel Sanders,
Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams. Yeah, like they haven't been cheap.
Contract.
The Niners sold their soul to win the show in 2023. The Chiefs countered with Taylor Swift and won the game. Yeah, pretty much. Coming from the guy who tells me to stop talking about the Chiefs and bringing up their name. What is wrong with you? He always does the Martha scene from Batman v Superman with the why did you say that name on his stream all the time. And he's bringing it up on here. You guys are all showing up now at the end of the stream. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. I'm going to let Tony get out of here. I'm going to get out of here. I hopefully I'll be back Friday on the Cover 3 podcast with me and Dre. I don't think Sterling will be back in town. But everybody, thanks for coming out. It was a little bit late, a little bit last minute, but we got on here. We talked, unfortunately, the situation as is. And who knows? Maybe the Niners win next Monday night and we'll be happy for, like 6 days or something. So we'll see. Everybody take care. Everybody have a great night. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.